It might take a long time to get there, but boy is it worth the trip. Welcome to MojoTravels, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 reasons to visit New Zealand. Are you a fan of our videos? Be sure to subscribe to MojoTravels and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at some of the top attractions this beautiful and hip country has to offer. Number 10, the Waitomo Glowworm Caves. You probably wouldn't think that worms would be a good reason to visit any country, but at least in the case of New Zealand, you'd be wrong. Located on the North Island, the intricate and complex Waitomo Caves are interesting all on their own. But when you add the visually stunning effect that countless New Zealand glowworms produce, you have something that's worth seeing even for people who don't even have the slightest interest in spelunking. You can take a guided tour that'll bring you through the different levels of the caves, the catacombs, and it even includes a boat ride through the Glowworm Grotto. Number 9, mountains. If you're somebody who'd rather be high up than underground, New Zealand has got plenty for you too, specifically a plethora of mountains and mountain ranges. There's Mount Maunganui, Mount Tarawera, Mitre Peak, Aoraki, also known as Mount Cook, and of course the aptly named the Remarkables. The latter is particularly good for skiing if you find yourself in or near Queenstown on the South Island during the winter. But remember, if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, the New Zealand winter is your summer. But if you do visit New Zealand during their summer, don't worry, there's plenty of hiking, mountain biking, and climbing to do on these majestic mountains. Number 8, Abel Tasman National Park. Abel Tasman is most closely associated with the Australian island of Tasmania, but the 17th century Dutch explorer is also fortunate enough to have one of the most beautiful national parks in the world named after him. While this park is the smallest of New Zealand's national parks, it proves that good things can definitely come in small packages. Located on the northern shores of the South Island, there is no shortage of things to do here. Pitch a tent and go camping, hike in the interior, swim or scuba dive, go kayaking, or if you're an adrenaline junkie, go skydiving. Whatever you do, be prepared to see some amazing and unique fish, birds, and mammals. Number 7, Maori culture. There are many countries you could visit and not interact with an indigenous member of the population. This isn't particularly likely in New Zealand, especially if you make an effort to learn about the indigenous people. The Maori people and their culture still have a strong presence in New Zealand, and they're a big part of what makes New Zealand special. You can meet Maori people and learn about their culture pretty much anywhere in New Zealand, but perhaps the best place to do so would be the city of Rotorua, where you can tour living Maori villages, take in performances, and eat food prepared in the traditional hangi method. That is, food cooked with heated rocks in a buried pit oven. Number 6, Middle Earth. New Zealand has always been an amazing and beautiful country, but let's be honest, a lot of us got the urge to visit only after seeing The Lord of the Rings. The epic Tolkien film trilogy and the subsequent Hobbit movies were all filmed in New Zealand by Peter Jackson, and expertly used the nation's unique and stunning beauty to transport viewers straight to the Shire, Mordor, and elsewhere in Middle-earth. There are a number of different Lord of the Rings tour packages, and considering that the trilogy was shot in over 150 locations, there is plenty to see. The films were mostly shot on the South Island, but if you visit Auckland, you can take an express tour to the Hobbiton movie set. Number 5, vineyards. New Zealand isn't just for mountain bikers and kayakers. There are plenty of great spots to relax, but if you're even a little bit of an oenophile, you need to visit some vineyards. New Zealand wines are famous the world over, so why not spend a day seeing how they make their wine? And if you can have a glass or 5 while you're there, even better, right? The most famous vineyards are in Marlborough, which is at the northern tip of the South Island and which produces over 75% of New Zealand's wine, and in central Otago, which has the southernmost commercial wine production region in the entire world. Number 4, festivals. New Zealand is not a densely populated nation, and while many of its greatest attractions are natural ones, they still do have cities. Great cities, in fact. And one of the things that keeps these cities hustling and bustling are the festivals. Kiwis love a good festival, and you're bound to run into at least one festival no matter when you visit. Skiers should check out the Winter Festival in Queenstown, but if you're there a little earlier in the season, nearby Arrowtown has a big annual autumn festival. Music lovers should check out the world-famous Tauranga Jazz Festival, and if you happen to be in either Christchurch or Auckland during the Lunar New Year, you can enjoy a stunning Lantern Festival. Number 3, the Great Walks. How many countries have such well-identified and famous hiking trails that they get their own titles? Well, New Zealand has such tracks, and their top 10 are known as the Great Walks. These walks are heaven for serious hikers, or what the Kiwis would call trampers. They range in length from about 20 to 50 miles. There are 3 on the North Island, 5 on the South Island, and 1 is on Stewart Island, also known as Rakiura, a small island south of the South Island. If you consider yourself a serious hiker, you'll have to do at least one of these great walks. Number 2, the Bay of Islands. One of the benefits of New Zealand being one of the more remote places in the world is that much of its indigenous fauna is unique. And even the species that aren't are still amazing to marvel at. One of the best places to see interesting wildlife is in the Bay of Islands. The New Zealand government has taken great pains to keep people from introducing predators like cats and rats into this environment. Here you can see birds like wekas and penguins, marine life like orcas and seals, as well as what the Bay of Islands tourism website boasts to be the largest insect in the world, the weta. Number 1, Lake Rotorua and the Emerald Lakes. We began our list with vivid colors, and so too shall we end our list. And with good reason. New Zealand has many beautiful lakes you should visit, but Lake Rotorua and the Emerald Lakes are in a category all their own. The Emerald Lakes are small lakes on Mount Tongariro, in Tongariro National Park, that boast a brilliant green hue owing to dissolved minerals. Lake Rotorua on the North Island is much bigger and contains geothermal vents. In certain parts, geysers and mud pools contribute a high amount of sulfur to the volcanic crater lake, which gives it a greenish-yellow color. In the right light, these lakes look positively otherworldly. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MojoTravels. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.